League One playoff semifinals, leg one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It's exciting, probably the most excited I've been all season. It's time for the League One playoffs. They're finally here. I never thought that bloody season was ever going to end. It kept going back and forth on how they were going to end it. Finally, they decided on a points per game system where the top two went up. So congratulations to Coventry City for winning the league, thoroughly deserved it. And congratulations to Rotherham United for also going up, very much deserved it as well. Certainly they gave Oxford a really good lesson in football earlier on in the year. One of the most impressive sides I think I'd seen. We do put timestamps down in the description so you can follow along or click to the match you want to see. You can also do that on the chapters bar on the channel. And as always, just thank you to everybody that supports us on the channel. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. And Thomas, I'm excited. Let's lead into the first match.
Fleetwood Town versus Wycombe Wanderers.
Okay, so obviously, biggest controversial thing about the points per game system was the fact that Wycombe overtook Peterborough to go from, I think, 8th or maybe even 9th in the table, all the way up to 3rd. Actually, I think it was 8th all the way up to 3rd.
It was 8th.
Which caused a lot of controversy, especially caused controversy to Peterborough, and I think they were extremely unlucky to miss out on it. I also think Peterborough, from an Oxford point of view, I'm glad they're not there because they were a side I really would be worried about playing. So I thought they were another side that was fantastic this season and would be very dangerous in the playoffs. But hey, it was Wycombe, and to talk to you more about Wycombe is Thomas.
Ian, I'm looking at the league table right now, and they were a very low 8th place to get bumped up. They were on 59 points alongside Peterborough United and Sunderland. They were in 8th on goal difference, but Ian, their goal difference is stark. They have a +5 goal difference. Do you know where that would put them in the table if you ranked the table on goal difference?
Okay, all right.
12th. They would be mid-table. They would be in the middle of the table. They wouldn't qualify for anything except the mediocre cup. And I am let down that this side has been allowed in. Peterborough Town have been one of my teams this year. I've loved them. They have Ivan Toney and a bunch of other misfits. I believe there's a James Madison in there and a couple other boys. But they were so good to watch, and they were free-flowing. They could not score a goal. Peterborough scored 68 goals this season. Wycombe have scored 45. 45! It's useless. They're useless. No one wants them here. But let me tell you a couple things about them before you think I'm totally...
I thought you were literally just going to give stats about Peterborough and then not give anything about Wycombe.
It's really been a season of two halves. Lost one of their first 20 games, and I'm sure, Ian, you'll love this, but that was up until they played Oxford just before Christmas. They have now lost 8 of the 14 games after this. It's no wonder Peterborough are furious. If you want to see like a time lapse, look at Sky Sports. They do time lapses of where teams are on the table, and it just starts with Wycombe, and they just slowly do this. Like, there's no even jump. It is just a straight downhill slip. They would have ended in the bottom half if things had worked out that way.
You're a cruel man, Thomas Pickering. You're a cruel man.
I really don't need to give you a huge amount of this. Akinfenwa is their top scorer. He's got 10 goals and 5 assists, which again should tell you what this team is. But their probable player of the year is left back or kind of left wing back Joe Jacobson. 9 goals and 2 assists. Their second highest scorer is a left back. And he's not named Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't get it. It's baffling. The manager, Gareth Aingworth, does deserve a lot of credit for getting absolutely everything he can get out of this team. No one gave them a bat's chance in hell at the beginning of the season. I don't really think you should be betting on them now. They are the weakest side in the playoffs, but, they put together a great 20-game run earlier in the season. Now they're going to just put together a 3-game run. I'm told under Ian's notes that I should underestimate them at my peril, but I will be underestimating this Wycombe side. I'm not a big fan of throwing out big scores anymore because I've learned my lesson, especially from teams that have first come back into this, but I do not back this Wycombe side. Wycombe fans, I know you don't like Ian's dislike for them because they're just up the road, or my general dislike for them because I can't understand why anyone cares about a team. Its nickname is the Chairboys, but we'll get into that later. I'm now going to give my prediction because I've been going for 12 and a half minutes about Wycombe Wanderers, and I'm going to go for a Fleetwood Town win, 2-1.
There we go. We got there in the end. So, Wycombe up against Fleetwood. I don't have, if any of you've watched this channel, you know I don't have a huge amount of love for Fleetwood Town. Myself and Thomas, we both don't like Joey Barton very much, and we've said that many times over the channel. And also being an Oxford United fan, I do not like Fleetwood Town. Why, you ask? It's because we never bloody beat them. We never have beaten them. We played them something like, I don't know how many times, maybe 700 times, and we've only got like 2 draws out of that. It's the best we can hope for. So no wonder I don't like them. But I am going to talk fairly about them in this video, because I will say I do think that Joey Barton has done a really good job there, and I do think they are a good side. If you look at all the playoff sides, they've lost the least amount of games out of the 4 sides that are in there, and they haven't actually lost a game since the 11th of January. In that run, they played Coventry, Pompey twice, Wycombe, Sunderland, Peterborough and Ipswich, and didn't lose to any of them. They also beat Wycombe at Adams Park, and Adams Park has been a bit of a fortress for Wycombe this season. And in that game, they even went down to 10 men with Ched Evans getting sent off. When you look at Fleetwood, then they're a very good side, but they're not excellent at anything. You look at the stats, they're never like top of the chart of anything. They're pretty middle of the pack. If you look at possession, shots per game, tackling, they're not really an over-aggressive side. They've only had the 1 red card, which is the one I just talked about. So that just tells me that Barton's doing a good job managing them. He's also doing a good job coaching them, because they're very well drilled. They all know their roles. It probably helps him that they haven't had a huge amount of injury problems. I think that's something that derailed them a lot last season. He talked about not having the financial backing around Christmas time to bring new recruits in. But he's been able to pick a steady 11 this year, and I think that helps quite a lot. They play a 4-3-3 with Harry Soter and Marshall in the defence, and then 3 quality players up top in Paddy Madden, Wes Burns and Ched Evans. Paddy Madden's got 15 goals this season, Evans 9, and Josh Morris has also got 7 for them as well. All their team seems to be like at the perfect age as well. They're all like sort of in that kind of mid-20s to early 30s, and almost like the players at the peak of their careers. You will never meet them on an off day. They've not been thrashed by anybody. They've always like had a narrow defeat, if anything at all, which means that they're going to be up for every single game. And I think they're going to be too strong for this Wycombe side, and I think they're going to win this game. They've been pretty good at home, and I think they're going to win 2-0.
It's time for the main event. Portsmouth hosting your Oxford United.
It's very, very exciting for me for Oxford to be in the playoffs. Thomas, I think this is the first time Oxford have ever been in the playoffs in the Football League. They were in the conference. They were in it a couple of times, or National League. But whenever we've been around the playoffs, we've either gone up automatically, or more often we've just balled it up and finished outside. So it's really, really exciting. You're going to talk about Portsmouth. Of course, I'm going to talk about Oxford. So I'm just going to let you start, because we want to finish this video strong by talking about Oxford United. So go ahead, Tom, and tell us how Portsmouth are going to lay a glove on this Oxford side.
Right, Ian, I'm going to start with the fact that they're not. They were 4th before Wycombe were randomly promoted into the playoffs. Now they're in 5th. They've got a goal difference of 17. They had a heinous start to the season, and credit should go to Kenny Jackett for managing expectations, but he almost lost his job at the beginning of the year. They were not heinously bad, but they're heinously bad for what they should be. They were mid-table and offering really nothing to the game, but they've improved. They've been in contention for promotion for the majority of the second half of the season, at least. Their home form has been absolutely immense. Fratton Park, I'm not 100% sure. I think they've lost 1 game there.
Unbeaten.
None? Unbeaten. So they are still unbeaten there. They play a 4-2-3-1. They did not beat Oxford, as Ian will be proud to say. It was a 1-1 draw. But I think the fans have been key to them, and that could be a real problem, because they're going to have no additional help. Or maybe it will help, because they play under a lot of pressure. But we're going to see. Their top scorer is Marquise. He was also League 2 Player of the Year a couple of years ago. He's got 14 goals. He's followed by Curtis on 13 and Harrison on 10. So there's a lot of good things about this Portsmouth side. Having 3 scorers over 10 goals is really, really important. Their history against Oxford, obviously, I said the 1-1 draw. They also had a 2-2 draw in the Leasing.com trophy, which they won 5-4 on penalties. So I think they're really going to back themselves in this. They've secured short-term extensions to 8 players, including key central defenders Christian Burgess and Sean Raggett, as well as fullback Lee Brown, who's been absolutely immense for them this year. There's a real worry going into this that almost their entire back line was going to be decimated, at which point Oxford could have walked the ball in. So they got the contracts done. Everyone who needed to sign a new contract has signed a new contract. And I think we're probably going to look back to the 1st of February as the day that guaranteed them playoff football when they beat Sunderland 2-0, which really, when you look at it, Sunderland would have qualified with one more point, whereas Portsmouth have now qualified with the points they got from that. And that's a huge result for them. So the second half of the season, they've been really strong. All of that being said, I have watched a lot of Oxford's football this year, and I have been very impressed with them. And I have not been that impressed with Portsmouth, and I think that they suffer mildly from the amount of expectation, whether they have fans in the ground or not. I think that this is going to be a 1-1 draw in the first leg, and I'm probably going to predict an Oxford win in the second leg.
Just one thing I just wanted to add on Pompey, just before we go on, is I think that they've actually been a bit disappointed with Marquis this season. I don't think he's got anywhere near the goals he got for Donny. I think they wanted this guy to be like a 25-30 goal marksman for them this season. They're probably disappointed he hasn't got up there. Ronan Curtis has been the real star of their team, scoring 11 goals, 5 assists. But what was really awesome is Oxford and Pompey, this is how close, I think this is the most evenly matched playoffs maybe ever. These sides are very, very, very tightly grouped, as League One was all season. Oxford and Pompey had identical records. Oxford got slightly more goals.
Oh my God, I'm looking at it now.
But in terms of games played, wins, losses, draws, exactly the same. So what does that tell you? Is it going to be a close game? Hell no! Oxford are going to hammer them. So it's a very Oxford United thing to be quite kind of pessimistic about your team, be very much like, I don't think we're going to get the job done. But I'm not going to do any of that. I've been absolutely delighted with Oxford United this season. I think Carl Robinson's done a fantastic job. He's assembled a great side. He's overachieved, in my opinion. Certainly, I thought they would be mid-table at the start of the season. And for them to be in the playoffs, I think that is outstanding. And not only now are they in the playoffs, I'm going to go out and say it, I think they're the best team in this playoffs. I think that some of the football Oxford have played this season has been some of the best I've ever seen from an Oxford side, and that goes back to when we were playing in the Championship in the 90s. Apart from a few wobbles early on in the season where they had some teething problems at the back or they weren't too good, they've generally been excellent. They had another little dip in form around about January time, but a lot of that came from being very good in the cups and playing a lot of cup football and then having a bit of a backlog of league fixtures. But generally, Oxford have been excellent, and they've been more than a match for everybody that they've played. There's been only a couple of times this season where teams have outplayed them. Peterborough being one of them, they absolutely hammered us. And there was the first half of the Rotherham game when they played at home and they were 3-0 up at half time. But generally, we've matched every team that we've played, and that includes the side that we've played from a higher division, including teams like West Ham, including Man City, including Newcastle. So this is, again, I'm just backs up the points I'm making. This is an excellent Oxford side. We've got a great goalie in Simon Eastwood, a very, very solid back line that doesn't concede the sloppy goals that it was conceding last season. I think Rob Dickey is one of the best defenders in the league, if not the best. I think along with Messinio, they marshalled the defence really well. I think in front of that, you've got Alex Goran and Cam Brannigan, and they do such a good job of being the engine room of the side. One of the key features of Oxford is when they lose the ball, but they win it back really quickly. They fight and they battle to try and win possession back, and it all comes through Goran and it all comes through Brannigan. Moving forward up the pitch, you've got players like James Henry. I think he's one of the most creative players in the league. One guy who could be the big difference in this game is Ben Woodburn. He's like a new signing coming back into this Oxford side. A lot of the loan players that we had have extended their loans, similar to what you said about Pompey. And Ben Woodburn is one of those guys. He's going to be up there, I would say, playing in like an attacking midfield role. And he is a player, along with Henry, that can really add a lot of quality to this Oxford United side and get the service into the main man himself, Matty Taylor. Matty Taylor's goals have been the biggest difference between Oxford being a middle-of-the-table side this season and being a side that's pushing for promotion. Not only has he scored 13 or 14 goals, I think it's 13, the goals have been important goals as well. Winning goals or equalising goals late, like he got at the game against Pompey. But I think Oxford are going to be hard side to stop in these playoffs. It might only come down to the fact that we never ever beat Fleetwood if we play them in the final is going to be what stops us. And I'm going big and I'm going crazy and I'm going all out there and I don't care. I think Oxford get this job done. I think they get it done early. And I'm going for Portsmouth 0, Oxford United 3.
I'm shocked, I'm appalled, and I'm excited, Ian.
Yeah.
I love it.
No
now,
malice,
let me ask you some...
fans. No malice, and I really want to hear your thoughts. I want you to all comment about how crazy and nuts I am and how this is not going to happen and how Portsmouth, just because you're a big name, you deserve to be higher in the league than the other sides.
When are we going to talk about Rochdale?
Next season. Okay. We'll do a 2-hour special
Excellent.
on why Rochdale are the underrated gem of English football.
So, Ian, that's it. That's the League One semi-final
I can't wait for these playoffs, Tom. I'm so excited. I really am genuinely excited for these playoffs.
Yeah, no, they're going to be awesome. Maybe we'll try and live stream some of our results or film ourselves as we're watching it, unless Oxford lose, in which case Ian will not be filming himself.
Well, I will. I will definitely be doing a video after the game. Whether or not I can get footage from Thomas after the game or not is another thing. Because you know what? He's a busy man. He's a busy man.
I have many, many plans, be it to be a bridesmaid at a wedding, at a wedding, a baby shower, a live model. You know, you never know what I'll be doing.
But I will definitely be doing a video like I've done for most of the games this season. So you can go out and check out those Oxford reviews. They're up on the channel, and you'll be checking this one out on Friday night as well when it comes out.
So thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the matches. Let us know what you think, and stay safe.